Now, today we are going to be discussing political alignment towards 2023 elections, the value-added tax controversy, Nigerians' loan burden, and the 2022 budget. I am Augusta Nadi. And here as our guest, we have an aspirant for the 2023 presidential elections. He was the candidate for the 2019 presidential elections. He is a Nigerian political economist, a former deputy governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, a former United Nations official. He is a politician, a lawyer, and an author, Professor Kingsley Moghalu. Professor Moghalu, thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Now, as we move closer to 2023 elections, we are witnessing politicians defecting from one party to another, or in some cases, the formations of new party. Are these mere political positioning, or are we witnessing some political alignments of some sort that enabled the APC to win the 2015 presidential elections?
Thank you. I think the political movements you are seeing, they're quite significant in a number of ways. First of all, you are seeing a movement from a lot of politicians from the APC to from the PDP to the APC. The reason that movement is taking place is very simple. It's mostly based on self-interest. It's mostly based on people who have some problems with corruption issues, trying to seek political cover in the ruling party, which of course means that the ruling party encourages corruption by being a place of refuge for people, facing allegations of corruption. And some people are also doing it because they think that the APC, being an incumbent party, will most likely win again. So that's one type of movement, but it is a movement based on the traditional political calculations. There's another type of movement that is taking place, and that is the movement I want everyone to watch, because it is the movement that could upset the whole apple cart. And that is as follows. The deterioration of security in Nigeria between 2019 and 2021, the economy has almost collapsed. People are very unhappy in Nigeria, not just with the APC, which has, of course, failed to deliver on any of its three cardinal promises. That is security, the economy, and fighting corruption. On all three fronts, they have failed. But beyond the APC, Nigerians are increasingly tired of the traditional political elite, which includes the APC and the PDP. With the PDP, many people consider the PDP an ineffectual opposition. They have not been able to be a serious opposition to the PDP. And so the impression has been created that they are just waiting for their turn to eat. So between the APC and the PDP, the situation in Nigeria today makes it clear that there's no salvation coming from any of these two political machines. And so you're beginning to see a certain movement of everybody else who is not satisfied with the status quo, trying to come together in some sort of third force arrangement. That is a movement I want you to watch, because it could spring a strong surprise in 2023. If the movement can be organized effectively, and if it can tap into the sense of hopelessness Nigerians are facing today, and offer people a clear plan and program to take Nigeria out of the woods. So, I mean, I am part of that discussion of the third force. What is it that can challenge the traditional political elite and defeat them electorally? It's not going to be easy. And one of the things you also have to watch is the debate in the National Assembly about the new Electoral Act. People are not going to accept anything short of electronic transmission of results, because we want the elections to be transparent going forward. We don't want rigging and people claiming that they won elections when they rigged it. If you win an election fairly, transparently, that's fine. That's what democracy is about. And if you know that you're a Democrat, why would you be opposed to electronic transmission of results using all sorts of spurious arguments, trying to undermine the independence of the Independent National Electoral Commission by subsuming its decisions under the agreement of the National Communications Commission or under the National Assembly itself, which is an interested party. So these are unconstitutional. Any such bill would be unconstitutional because it would go against the Nigerian Constitution. And I believe it can be easily challenged in court. Now, we need to watch as the Senate and the House of Reps reconcile their two versions of this bill, and let us see what will come out of it. I hope it gives Nigerians the first hope of a real democracy since 1999. An election that we can be reasonably sure that the votes were tabulated correctly. So between these three movements, you may be seeing some very important transitions and upsets in the 2023 election. Because the only reason the APC and the PDP are holding on to the political space is because people are poor and they buy votes. People are not informed as electorates and as voters. So we need political education to free the minds of people. So anybody thinking that they will find good governance in the APC or the PDP, I'm sorry to say, there's bad news awaiting you. A leopard cannot change its spots, period. So you have to make a choice about whether you want to continue with the status quo and continue with the insecurity, the corruption, the poverty, or whether you want something new. You have to choose between politics for its own sake, but without governance, and using politics to elect leaders that can govern. There are two different things. The former is what has been going on in Nigeria. The latter is where we need to be going to. And 2023 is a make or break election for Nigeria, even for the stability of the country. When you look at all the arguments over rotations and so on and so forth. So the whole argument about justice and equity inside the democracy is also an important discussion to watch, because democracy is not the same everywhere. It is a basic principle, but it has various forms in various countries. In Switzerland, for example, there's a rotational presidency in the constitution, and that's a recognition that Switzerland has 3 or 4 main ethnic blocs, and it's a confederation. So power has to be shared equitably. So Nigeria faces this type of decision, and then you have some people just talking about, oh, it's a game of numbers, because it's a very convenient argument to be making at this time, when at other times they were making the arguments about zoning and about regional rotations. So I'll stop there for now. There are important movements afoot, yes.